Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we've got something interesting. As you can see, a little different. We've got ourselves a Jaws figure from Neca. Now what this is the game of Jaws. I'm not going to do a full review on this because I don't feel like trying the game out or anything like that. I basically just want to unbox this and check out all of the stuff that's included, and of course the shark itself. But you can see the packaging looks really cool. You've got a nice shot down here. I know it's annoying seeing it from the side, but I will show you why it's from the side here in a moment. But here you can see that image, and then of course the upper side is basically just the standard Jaws artwork and everything. But if you turn it around, the image here on the back, which shows everything off, is from the side, and you can see that obviously we've got ourselves the shark itself from Neca, which is really cool, as well as a little bit of information here kind of telling you about the game, and then all of the different extras and everything that are included. Well, not really extras, but all of the pieces of the game, I guess, that are included down here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this box open, and we'll bring everything in and check it out. So there we go. We have everything now out of the box, just kind of thrown here. But wow, straight away, I have to say I am super impressed with the size of the shark. I did not expect it to be nearly as large as it is. It is actually quite gigantic, similar in size to some of the Megalodon figures that I have in my collection, like the iToy and W Dragon versions. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of pull the camera in here a little bit and bring each and every piece that we have here in to take a look at. We'll of course take a look at the shark here in a moment, but we'll go for the shark last. So first of all, we've got this little contraption, and as you can see, we've got some really cool sort of hooks and stuff, and I like how realistically this is painted. Now, it's not shocking considering it is Neca, and they usually do a pretty good job on this sort of thing because they often have accessories. So at this point, they should be pretty much professionals when it comes to painting accessories like this, and that they are, because you can see we have a really cool metal sort of a look with variation of color to it. And then as you lead back into the actual wooden area, you can see that as well is very nicely painted with a nice brownish tone, and then we have like a darker brown included as well, giving it a very realistic look. It is also really nicely textured, very fine texturing, continuing to give it that wood-like sort of a look. So that's a nice little addition to this set as well. We've got ourselves a nice little revolver in here. Now, some of them actually have these little straps included. I'd imagine that's probably part of the game aspect, but you can see even this is actually not only nicely sculpted, but nicely painted. We have a nice sort of like a silver for the majority of the gun, but then you can see a black for the handle area. That's very well done as well. On top of that, we've got a human skull, which is definitely really cool, with a nice crack here in the forehead. And again, they've done a very good job of giving this an extremely realistic look. Look at how well done the sculpt is and the texturing. And again, the paintwork with a little variation of color, making that skull look extremely realistic. I love that there are missing teeth and everything. Even the inside of the skull actually looks really nice. There's also a hole that comes out of the back of the head. That piece right there in general could be a really fun addition to any sort of dioramas you might want to create, not just with Jaws, but honestly with anything. We as well have a very nice tire in here, which actually says Neca on it. That, again, just a black, but very highly detailed, looking, again, quite realistic. Then we have an anchor, and the anchor, again, just like with everything else, has an extremely realistic look. They've done a very good job of kind of creating that rusty, weathered appearance for the anchor, and I like how sharp the anchor actually looks. Like, it looks totally realistic and legitimate, which again is really cool, and one of the many things that Neca is extremely good at. There's also a lantern included in here, and again, very nice precise paintwork, as we have kind of like a almost like a mustardy greenish sort of a tone for the majority of the color of it, and then the inside is painted with a different tone of color. Now, there is the slightest bit of sloppiness right there, but for the most part, that's actually nicely painted as well. Then we've got ourselves a 6-pack of beer. Oh, no, we don't. We only have a 5-pack because one can is missing, but that's still really cool. Again, I like that the one can is taken out, showing that whoever was swimming at that time was clearly eaten by the shark before they ever had a chance to actually drink any further than the one beer. But that is really nicely done, and you can see the labels and everything are on it, which shows how extremely impressive the fine details are of this set. There is also a camera, and the camera is again very well done as far as the painting goes. Maybe not quite as impressive as some of the other pieces, because I can definitely see that it is painted, whereas some of them just look super legitimate, but that one's okay. Again, that's definitely a nice little fun addition. There are as well some bones included in here, which you can see again about as nicely sculpted and painted as we saw for the skull. We also have a boot, and I love that the boot as well is really nicely weathered. Like you could see the front of the boot is kind of opened up. Maybe it's been floating in the water for a while and it's just really started to deteriorate. Again, the paintwork looks very legit and realistic as far as the boot goes, kind of giving it a dirty look, and again, a very weathered look. And the sculpt as a whole is extremely well done for the boot. On top of everything, we've also got a nice little glove. I don't know if there's a hand included in there. No, I'm just kidding. Just the glove, but you can see that as well. Again, really well weathered. Neca always does a very good job when it comes to weathering stuff and just adding lots of realism. We also have this kind of jug in here, which is painted with a green, and then of course has the cork up there in the top. Also really nicely done. There is this little walkie-talkie, which also looks really good. Again, not a whole lot when it comes to paintwork included on this piece, but definitely very highly detailed like everything else in here. There is a license plate, which we can see from Louisiana, and again, another one of these straps on the side. This is very beat up and kind of bent and everything exactly as it's supposed to be, showing you that it's definitely been through some stuff. There is a dead fish, basically just the skeleton of a fish, which looks pretty decent. Not as much when it comes to like realistic paintwork on the fish, but it still looks pretty cool. There is as well an oxygen tank, which is definitely something that very much so suits the Jaws gimmick, and that again sports some like logos and stuff here on the front, a really nice silver tone with a black up here on the top. That's really well done. And the final piece here is, of course, part of this set that shows us that somehow, somewhere, somebody is on a boat without the ability to steer it, because obviously we've got the missing piece right here. But again, really nicely sculpted, really nicely weathered, just like everything else, and I love the fact that it's all broken and everything the entire way through. So those are all of the accessories in the set. Then we've got the shark itself, and as you can see, Bruce looks awesome. The sculpt is really well done. There's some very impressive fine texturing throughout, a very obvious and kind of ugly seam moving through here, but I guess that's not the end of the world. We can see the nostrils, the eyes, which are painted with a nice black. I love the dark grayish tone and how it nicely transitions down to the off-white tone of the underbelly. There is a little variation of color. It's very hard to pick up on, but it kind of looks like maybe there's like a really light brownish sort of dry brushing that's been applied. There's also some darker tones that have been applied to the gills of the shark, and as you move up, there's a black that kind of outlines the dorsal fin up there. And again, just in general, as you move through, even though there are very obvious seams which do kind of cheapen the overall appearance to it, it looks nice as far as the sculpt goes. And as you move back to the face, it does have that very dirty, gritty style that you see again on Jaws. We also have some injuries here all around the mouth. The teeth look super cool and very intimidating. Also nicely painted, given some nice red washes and stuff. There is technically an articulated jaw, because that's kind of how you set the game up, and you can get really far inside the mouth of the shark, and that is about as cool of an image as you are going to find of Bruce coming in to bite your face off. The teeth again continue to look super well done, really impressive inside the mouth. You can see again variation of color with pinks and reds and stuff that have been applied. There's also a nice lighter pink that follows along the jawline there. Same deal for the upper jaw. There's actually a nice gloss coat inside the mouth as well. If you take a look over here, and my camera one day decides to focus, you can see the very bloody look to the inside of the mouth. Unfortunately, when you get further back, you can see the upper side is just a gray in there, but it does return to the pink as you move down into the stomach. It's just going to be impossible to really get in there, but you can definitely see again how realistically sculpted and painted everything is. Neca definitely did a great job when it comes to that, and if you actually come in here and you push the tongue, the mouth just closes, so it kind of has an action feature, which I'd imagine is part of how you play the game. As you move back, you can see the other fins, which these are actually assembled after. These these are disconnected when you first get it. You just have to slide them up. And once you slide them in, you can see they do look pretty good. Obviously, there's a seam that moves down the side of the shark, a seam right here where that one was connected, and same deal back here, which is unfortunate to see so many seams. I am sad, though, that this isn't like an articulated version, which is, of course, what Neca is known for. I was really hoping for an articulated version of the shark from Jaws. Now, I don't know if that's something that they have in the works. Maybe I haven't heard about it yet, but I would definitely love to have that. But you've got a nice tail sculpt and everything. Again, some dry brushing and different paint application applied to that area. But it is a really, really cool figure. Definitely one that I'm excited to have in my collection, and, you know, excited to be able to now own a very cool, officially licensed Jaws. And to play the game, basically what you're supposed to do is, I guess, put this stuff all in the stomach of the shark, and then you have to reach in with the hook and try to pull stuff out. So once you then get, whoops, I dropped that. Once you then get in there into the stomach and you can get a piece, you have to try to go all the way in there, hook, well, I lost that now, hook it and then pull it out without setting the shark off, and then it bites you. That's pretty much how you play the game, and it's very cool. I know I said I was just basically doing an unboxing, turned into a review anyway. For a size, we might as well give it a nice length here, nice size, actually to the furthest part of the tail, about 17¼ inches or 44 centimeters, and then for a height, about 8¼ inches or 21 centimeters. Might as well give you a size comparison as well. With Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon in the Collect Day Human Being next to our Bruce figure here. And you can see again, it is really quite impressive. Definitely quite large overall when it comes to a shark like this. And by far one of the largest sharks that I have in my collection. Maybe actually the largest as a whole. It may even be bigger than some of my other megalodons. But I wasn't really, again, intending on doing a full review here. Mostly just an unboxing. If for some reason you did want to see some more comparisons, I could of course do those in a shorts video or something, but my primary goal was just to unbox this, to show it all to you guys. And it is really cool, and I could definitely see the game itself being quite fun. I know when I had acquired this, my son was very interested in trying to play the game with me, so I'm gonna have to try it out with him and see how he likes it. It seems like it could be a lot of fun trying to sneak everything out of the stomach of the shark. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I think overall it's a really cool set, very highly detailed version of Bruce, very impressive in the size, a good bit of realism, some ugly seams throughout, but still quite nice looking, and it comes with a ton of extra accessories, of course, to play the game. So if you are interested in this, I acquired this on Big Bad Toy Store. Check the link there, go grab this if you want it, add it to your collection, of course, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review.